Hello again. All right, so this week what you need for supplies is a piece of computer paper. I'm going to use a Sharpie, and you'll also need a pencil, just like we did for our shading paper. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to apply it to our drawing. So I want you guys to draw 3 circles on your paper. You want to do that light in pencil. You can absolutely trace something if you want, like if you want to just take a glass, put it down and trace that, so you don't have to worry about getting a perfect circle. That's up to you. But we're gonna make spheres out of these circles, and a sphere is just a 3D circle. You can think of like a basketball, anything like that. And we want to show value. So again, value, we want lights and darks and an obvious difference. So if I was going to show value with stippling to start, maybe I'll do it on this one. I want to think of where my light source is. So light source is just kind of where your lamp might be. Right over here, that just might be the whitest area. And over here, it's not getting a lot of light hitting it, so that's all going to be in shadow. That's going to be a lot darker. And I might even have a drop shadow. So in pencil, I might want to lightly add kind of like a quick little oval just to add a little drop shadow in. So with these shapes, you're just relying on your dots to create the difference in values. You're not drawing any lines, you're not outlining anything. And I'm just going in, so I want to make my darkest value first so I can kind of obviously see a difference. And I'm going in and I'm quickly stippling it, so I'm quickly tapping. And I don't want it to look too perfect, so I might even kind of get a couple dots and kind of scatter it out as if like my value is fading a little bit. And I'm just going to start going in. And the stippling is going to take a little bit more time. So kind of keep that in mind. I like to use a marker with the stippling. And again, since my light is over here, I might have a little kind of circled area where this light spot is. You can make little guidelines with your pencil. So I might not stipple anything in there. I might just do a couple little scattered things, but we want it to be pretty light at first. And then as I get closer to my shadow side, my dots are going to start to form closer together. And I want to be very mindful of my lines. So when I go in, it just looks like a ball. It kind of looks like a sphere. I'll show you guys the finished one of this, and I'll post a picture of it so you have a better example and you don't have to watch me make a bunch of dots. Over here, I'm going to go in and we're going to cross hatch. So cross hatching is just like the tic-tac-toe board again. I might also want to do the same thing, so I might have my light spot be over here. I'm just going to draw a little curve because this part of the ball is not going to have any light, any dark areas kind of attached, so I'm not going to draw on it. And then I might add a quick little shadow in here. You can have fun with your shadow. Cross hatching, I'm just going to go in. Again, I'll start with my darkest value. Does not have to be perfect as you're doing it. And I just want to make sure that this is established as a very dark value. So I'm going to go over a couple times and add a few of these tic-tac-toe boards. And then I'm just going to start going in and throw in my darkest value. So maybe I'll start just with some kind of horizontal lines and then just putting it in. It does not need to be perfect. Like, I don't need the entire thing to look like it's a perfect tic-tac-toe board all around. You can see like this is a little bit messier, and that's okay. It still shows the difference of value, which is what we want. And the reason it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just so you can get in different value points. And I'm just going in, I'm layering my lines a few different directions so I can kind of show it. And I want to show a little bit of a lighter area of a transition, so I might go back in and add a couple more lines that are more spread out, just to make it look like it's a little bit more faded. And I want to still try to keep this round ball shape that we have. Maybe I'll add a couple lines. Maybe I'll add like a couple dashes, so if we erase everything, you can still see it, still see the shape. And that would be kind of like a rough cross hatching. You guys are just practicing the techniques and just applying it. The last one you're going to want to do is shading, and that's with your pencil. So again, I might just kind of figure out my light sources over here and then throw in a quick little drop shadow. I like to put my darks down first because then I have a good idea of where I want my value to go and kind of just to show a clear difference. With a number 2 pencil, you're not going to get super dark, but you should just kind of go in, press a little bit harder, and add some shading. Again, this will be my dark area, and I want to pick one direction. So if I want this to kind of look like a little bit more of a ball, I might kind of make my directional lines go side to side, and be careful to stay inside your lines. And then this is the good part of shading. You could also hold your pencil off to the side for this to get the wider part of your lead to kind of shade in a little bit more. That's up to you, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Is when I want to show a few, like a little bit more transitional value, I can take that tissue that we did before and I can just kind of smooth out some of my lines in my value, and that's how you get a really smooth shaded look. That's how all the pros do it. And it will lighten up your darkest value, so you might want to go back in and darken that up. So I can see here, okay, this looks a little bit messy. I want it to look nice and smooth and shaded. So I'm just going to go back in, clean that up, add a little bit more. It's not a bad thing to see some texture with your pencil lines. It's just more of a preference. And then here I can see that little pencil mark. So you could also draw with your eraser. Let's say I'll darken this up a little bit more, and oh no, I made it too dark, I want it lighter. You can go back in with your eraser and just draw out a little bit of a highlight. And there you have it. I'm going to post a picture of all of these a little bit more finished, so you don't have to watch me make a ton of dots. That's going to be attached, and you just have to make 3 spheres with stippling, cross hatching, and then shading.